I don't want no drama, I don't want no hate. I'm just trying to make sure all my people straight. I'm just trying to give you everything I am.
All right, and welcome to the Where Were We Again podcast. Would you believe it? This is episode 16. Yeah, that's right. Believe it or not, this is right about the 1 year mark of this podcast. This has been fun. We've talked to so many great people, but today is just another example of that. Like, I am super excited for this. We have been talking about doing this since I had the idea for doing a podcast. So I am bringing on, brand new to being a solo artist, but not brand new to the music scene by any stretch of the imagination. I've got Nesdam.
Hey,
Man, I am so excited for you to be here. We've known each other for quite a few years, and we've done so many cool things in music and stuff. So I'm glad that you finally got to be on this podcast, and we've got so many good things to talk about. But hey, thanks for coming on,
dude. Absolutely, man. You know, not only have we talked about doing this for a while, I wanted to wait for the right time for Nesdam, to do it.
Sure.
But also, dude, you did my first ever interview, ever, ever, before anybody even knew who I even was, before I even knew who I was.
Oh, yeah, that was something else, man. So for the story, and I don't know if I've told this story or some amalgamation of this story, but so this was I think I've told a part of the story. So this was a fun night, right? So I don't know if you know the whole detail but I had a great weekend way back, and I don't even remember what year. Maybe it was 2013, I think. But this band that I really liked called Light Up the Darkness, I supported them. I loved them. They were great. They were doing an album release show, but they were opening for Disciple that night. Disciple was just about to release their I can't remember. I don't remember what the album was, but they ended up playing two brand new songs that night that they recorded and kind of said, "Hey, here's some new songs off our album." They were doing Dead Militia and Radical, I believe.
Oh,
so
rad.
It was the first time they had ever played them live, and it was the first time recording them, and it was a great weekend, right? And it ended up being an even better weekend because another band that I really loved at the time and really loved to support was also doing an album release show back here at home at the Firebird. Now, it was great because both bands are doing an album release show. So the one was down to Southern Missouri, so I went down there for that on the Saturday, and I came back that night to be available for the show Sunday as Random Hero was having an album release show with Disciple headlining. And so that was just a fun weekend back to back, seeing a bunch of bands that I really love and getting to do that. And I'm like, you know what? I got an opportunity. Let me do some interviews. So I end up hooking up. I end up doing an interview with Kevin, and I end up doing an interview with you guys, Random Hero. Now, it was funny because St. Louis has got this weird curfew thing, and the venue is being a little bit weird and strict about it, where it said, "Hey, nope, show's over. You guys are loaded out. You're done. Get out." So here I am standing outside my Trailblazer outside this venue. I turn on my headlights. We get this camera rolling, and we just say, "Let's do it."
Oh, yeah.
And we're standing outside this venue by the headlights of my car doing an interview. Okay, fine.
I believe that's how we did mine. Yeah.
It was weird, but it was cool. So,
yeah, it worked, man. It was also the first night I ever saw Disciple too, actually. I've never seen him perform until that night. And man, I was blown away, obviously. And it was cool. It was the first night we ever met him as Random Hero and stuff. We ended up touring with him a ton in that band.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was the first, that was a major night. You know, it was kind of an unexpected. I remember it kind of came up on tour and it ended up working. And so we're all of a sudden we're loading in, and that became like kind of a pinnacle night, as far as history.
I mean, so when you talk about pinnacle nights, I just some fun, and we'll talk more about some of this, how this has evolved and really kind of got to you where you are. But, pinnacle nights, right? Random Hero, I booked you guys out for a show a couple years later. So this was a fun story too. So both shows are put on by Chris Emmanuel, right? He was like running the show, kind of booking the tour a little bit. And he's like, you know what? Let me bring you guys in. You guys were doing this tour with, it was supposed to be
Nine Lashes.
It was supposed to be Nine Lashes.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I just lost a lot of height here. Let me go back up. Office chair. Hold on. That was live. Okay. No, we're good. Yeah.
No, right. But so you were supposed to be Nine Lashes, but ended up being Viridia, Random Hero, and Ilya. And it was quite funny. This is just how my life always tended to be around those years. But I was literally driving down to my honeymoon
Oh, wow.
And Chris calls me and says, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, it's fine. I'm on my way down to my honeymoon." He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, I got this tour, and I want to see if you'd want to bring them in. Like, do like a drive, a road stop because it's in between dates, and we want to maybe pick up some gas money or something." I'm like, "Sure. When is it? 3 weeks." Hold on, let me make a call. Next thing you know, I end up booking a show with you guys on my honeymoon, and I'm like, okay. So as soon as I get back from my honeymoon, I kind of hit the ground running to get the show together.
So that was you were the promoter of that whole show too?
Yeah.
I did not know that till this day. Oh my gosh. So yes, you had everything to do with that, not only the interview.
Yeah.
Dude, how cool.
So,
what a good turnout.
Yeah, man, that was something else, right? And it was really cool. Because that tour was a little bit of a special tour for you. So I got this cool picture. Give it a camera second focus. So here we are.
Oh,
this is
goodness.
Outside the venue. Come on, camera, focus. It's trying. It did earlier. So this is outside the venue of that we had the show at, and if it'll go, it's going to give me trouble, but that's all right. This was Random Hero and Ilya together. Now, what's interesting at this time, this was the last iteration of Ilya, really, and the lead singer. I don't know, that's fine. I'll figure out a way to put it on the screen or something. But this was the time where they had the lead singer by the name of Susie.
Yes,
and
that tour.
Tell me about that. What makes that tour so special?
It was the most unexpected thing ever. I was actually in a relationship at the time, but all of a sudden was on this tour, and all of a sudden wasn't in a relationship. We broke up, and then never thought about it in a million years due to the timing. But Susie was single at the time too, and we just started talking. But actually, I want to say it was Knoxville, Tennessee one night. It came down to an acoustic guitar. Came down to me borrowing her acoustic guitar and singing some songs just like in the parking lot with some friends after the show. And she joined me. And that's kind of just when we started hitting it off and text and exchange numbers, even though we'd been touring at the time. And then after that, it was just history. Nothing, everybody else was just non-existent. It was just kind of, tunnel vision on that tour,
Right. Now, spoiler alert, fast forward, you guys are married now.
We are. So, going on 5 years, but we've been together for 7. Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah. So that was a really kind of a cool thing to kind of see that come together and kind of go from that point forward. But that kind of evolved, right? So you guys got married and all of that. Ilya kind of fell apart. And so Susie's like, I want to do my own stuff, right? Because she was already fantastic at writing. She'd been writing for years, even before I think from my understanding, even before she was the lead singer of Ilya, she was writing a lot of their stuff and kind of helping them anyways with that stuff. And so she was already putting out so much amazing music. And so she was like, I'm going to do this myself, right? And you ended up drumming for that.
Yeah. So, I think, we all helped work on that first record. Red for War. And, it was really cool because I saw kind of the breakup coming. I did know first and foremost that she was writing everything and stuff. And so I was like, this girl's super talented despite, our romantic involvement. Bertrand at the time was producing. I was living with him. And so it just made sense to do that. And then you got Red for War right there, which, it got her started, man, and I look back on that record and there's some bangers on there and I'm like, it got her feet wet. And now to look at what she's done, it's incredible.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
And I've been there every step of the way as far as just being able to watch it. So it's been really cool as far as a husband, but also being in her band.
Yeah. Oh gosh, for sure. And you guys got to go through, so many highs and so many lows together and stuff, but it's so cool, to be able to see you guys playing together. That's I don't think a lot of people get to experience that. There's a couple of bands out there, some small, some really big that have that, but there's just something really special about seeing you guys two up there playing together. And it's just really neat to see how that's evolved. But time goes on, things happen. And no, this is not leading up to something bad as much as that was starting to sound like it. But no, look, so something even cooler in that realm happened just recently, and I mean really recently. you guys announced a double signing to Crossover Records.
We sure did. Yeah, I mean, it started with the Zana one, and then we just announced the Nesdam one, and it's been something that's been in the works for a long time, and it felt surreal for the longest time, man. But now that we're here and we're like got both of our singles out and music videos coming out on the way, man, it's really cool. It's cool to see both of our projects kind of get picked up by somebody that, you know, like Brian Head Welch, that really believes in it, and to sit down and even interview us, and yeah, it's kind of like a dream come true, man. I just want to deliver, because it's one to get an opportunity like this, but it's also another to do. What do you do with it? You know?
Oh yeah.
Was it all for the announcement, or did they actually have something that was worthwhile? Well, I'd like to believe that we do, you know? And so, we're just going to keep pressing on, but I feel like we've done that for the later part of, I mean, for me, a decade now, but her, the later part of it. So,
yeah. So, you know, this was kind of cool, and maybe somebody's surprised by this, but yeah, you coming out, like, you just got signed, you're doing solo stuff. Like, how did you get down the road from like just play? I'm not gonna, and I'm not, this is terrible phrasing, but like playing the drummer and like being more in the back and like support to like, you're running this. This is your show now.
No, that's cool. That's a great question, actually, man. It kind of comes down to this. You just had, in a band sense, man, people will automatically just think the singer wrote the song. You know, they think the singer is the reason that song's there. They don't know where it kind of comes from, nor do most of them really care, right? If they love the song, they love the song. So kind of you get like stereotyped as a drummer just to be like you're just in the band, right? You just hit stuff, you know? And that's funny, man. But then there's like Dave Grohl's out there, you know? And so I feel like every singer or songwriter compares themselves. If they're a drummer and they sing or they write songs, they compare themselves to like a Dave Grohl, because he's like, you know, the pinnacle again. He's like the one that, you know, we all look to that actually did it on a high scale, even though there's so many more. But I'm one of those just multifaceted musicians. I always have been. But when it came to like my whole life, a lot of people know me as a singer. A lot of people know me as a drummer. But when it came to Random Hero, my first opportunity to kind of get in a national scale, it was as a drummer. And then if you notice Random Hero, much like you do, it's awesome you're wearing the hat. You notice that I vocally evolved in that band and started singing more as time went on, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and that's really cool too, right? Like that. So that's one of my favorite things to do, like with any band, especially ones that have gone on for a while and put out a lot of music. 'Cause I love to just kind of watch the evolution from where they start to kind of as they grow, right? Because Random Hero, and man, I love that band. I still do to this day. I play them a lot, but like the last album you guys put out. Oh yeah, well, I mean, fair enough, right? Yeah. But like that last album, like that you guys put out was just truly, honestly, it was the pinnacle, like the truly some of the best work you guys had done, because you guys spent a lot of time trying to craft that, and I heard you on that really well. It was great, and like you not only were you get to be standing out in that, but like, you know, hearing Aaron's, like it was toned to Aaron, right? It finally found the music was all built around his voice.
Yeah.
And it was something that was different that hadn't been done throughout any of the previous stuff. And it just sounded so good. And I heard something interesting too. So I'm excited to see what this looks like for you, right? Because one, The Hill just came out.
Yeah.
Literally like just came out. And guys, if you hadn't figured out by now, these episodes are always pre-recorded and usually a couple weeks early. So just have that fact. But like, you guys just released The Hill last week, and it was fantastic, right? And one of the things I thought was kind of interesting is like, you know, describing like, it's like, I heard this description of it, like it's like refreshed new metal.
Yeah, I saw somebody describe it that way. I believe it might have been Mary Nickel or somebody described it like that. Man,
I love Mary.
Cool little take on that, you know? I was like, I like that. It does have bits and pieces, man, and I think me being just like, I guess, you know, widespread as far as even just instruments or being on drums, I play guitar. It goes like that with genres too. So I think it's not that I go all like this all over the record, but you will see little bits and pieces of little, you know, genre, as much as like a new metal taste here or like a pop punk thing here. Or I'm just, the one thing that I love the most about the Nesdam record is I never anticipated for it to do this. never anticipated. Obviously, no one ever anticipates Brian Head Welch to call and sign you.
Right.
It was not, no, I did not go into the booth thinking that was going to happen right in this record. So I'm really happy to know that it got founded on a record that I wrote specifically just to be liberating, to do what I wanted to do. So all of these songs, even though I wrote them with who I wrote them with, they're exactly the way I would want to do them 100 times over. And I'm really happy that the team supported me in that, and that their ideas made it even better, basically. And so it's really cool, like, to know that for me, that's a full circle moment, as being like a songwriter that's always been categorized as a drummer, full circle.
Oh yeah, and look, I mean, I've watched you since the day you joined Random Hero, right? Because like that tour with the Firebird was really your first real outing with Random Hero way back in 2013 or whatever that was at this point. But like, I've watched it, and I know, like, I've seen you. I know have got very diverse talents, things, and especially over the years, right? Like I've seen you doing different things with Zana and things like that. Like, I know your hand, and like you're good at producing, you're good at like, just writing, and your vocals were actually really great, and most people didn't know it, right? Like I kind of hear you on like the Random Hero, but like it was still like you weren't out there. Like I could tell, right? Especially like with this last Zana album, like it was cool to actually hear you as a feature, because that kind of gave us a taste of what was to come, right?
Yeah, but, first ever feature,
dude. That was cool. But it's exciting to kind of see some of this come out, because I think you've got a lot of great things to show and to give, and I want to receive that. I want to see what cool things that you've got from store. Because honestly, I think you've been writing this album for a while, right? Like it's been like 2 or 3 years, hasn't it?
Yeah,
like,
this
you've been
is
on this
like
for a bit.
It's kind of just been my brainchild, and kind of kept it personal for a long time. And then put out Crawl one night, and then I saw the reception on that, and I got it remastered and reattacked on the new record. So I can't wait for y'all to hear it again. Beautiful. It's done the way it should have been in the beginning. But I had this piece of music, and I was sitting on it. I think I was just feeling low one night, man. I was like, didn't want to wait, maybe got impatient, just put it out, saw the reception, and was like, that was the minute I made the decision to go full length. And I've done Nesdam completely out of my own pocket, completely, until now, not label supported, not anything except just Patrick doing it. And if Patrick didn't wake up and do it, it would have never got done, And so I just went out and did it with my wife and an awesome producer named Corey Brunneman that believed in me when I felt like no one else did on that level. I really did. It was just like during a weird time in COVID, like during COVID and stuff. And just, everyone was kind of keeping to themselves and stuff. And he was willing to pick up a project. And I think we used my stimulus check, bro. Like,
love it.
You know me, I had like a podcast at the time, and I was just like, well, I'm not going to let them pay my bills, but they can pay for my record. I think I said something like that. I don't know. It was being me. And, but anyway, I used that stimulus check, and I think that's what got Crawl done. And then now we're here, and it's just crazy to think about it. I'm really thankful and happy that I've done something that I've stuck to. I think if we just do anything like that, there's a part of like, I don't know, accomplishment that we as humans, we love. And I love that about it more than anything.
Yeah, no, for sure. And to be able to, I think sometimes like to be able to put your art out is just an amazing thing as it sits, right? Because I think, you two especially, like your guys' art is always so amazing to hear, because it's always so personal and it's life experience, right? For both of you guys, and I love to hear that, because I was talking with Trevor about this last week because with Heal the Hurt, right? Like their whole thing is like it came out of the fact that he was dealing with a lot of stuff going on in his life, and he struggled to just live, and so he put this out because he wanted to use that music as an outlet to try to relieve some of that.
That makes the most powerful music, man. I'll tell you,
that's exactly it.
Yeah,
right?
It really does,
man.
And it's weird that like we as artists go, we put ourselves, or we don't put ourselves through it, but we write about, we reopen the wounds. Basically, we kind of let everyone know what happened. We sing about it in a way, and it's basically in an attempt for others to understand what we went through and to get over it. Cause it's kind of like a punching bag, man, kind of got to get it out. And, being like a song like Manipulator, especially what it was about. Oh, it was awesome to sing like, and get it out. And now those things don't really hurt me as much anymore, cause I'll just go listen to that song. It's almost like a weapon against it.
Yeah, no, for real, and I mean that's come up quite a bit in the last couple episodes, right? Because I mean I was talking with Convictions about it too. It's the same thing. It's like we were talking about how just like that heavy music is an opportunity to it's almost therapy in a way for the listener and for you guys. Like as you're writing that, it's your therapy, as you said. Like you're opening up that wound, but it's like now you're gonna beat it to death and like, look, you don't control me. This is my story, and now I'm going to use that to help others. Right?
Yeah, and I think it comes down to like, we watch a lot of movies and stuff, but if everyone from a movie perspective could understand another person like that, like we all understand Ben Affleck and every role he's been in, we're like, okay, man, we get that character. But if I understood Trevor like that from Heel to Hurt, it would just add effect to what he's singing about. And so that's kind of what we try to do as an artist. This is what I try to do, is I try to bring it out and not that to make you live it, but it makes you understand me better when you know what Crawl's about. It makes you understand me better when you know what One Block Away is. And if I could ever get a cinematic masterpiece to like write it, or like visualize it, I would. But doing with what we can right now, man. But I got to say, I love the ride. I love what's happening. I didn't expect to be here, and nor expect to have vinyl records on pre-order right now, cassettes, and with my name on it. It's weird.
I'm going to be dropping something on that. Like I have to get. I'm a vinyl collector.
Yeah, me too. Actually, yeah.
It's funny because this is just my nature. But like 2 years ago, I had 10. Now I have over 200 because that's just how that kind of works, right? It's like, but now part of like my grandfather had so he called me. He says I posted pictures of the few I had. And he's like, "Oh, you collect vinyls?" So I got some ones I was just gonna throw away if you want to come look at it, and I'm like, okay, all right, maybe. Like I don't know what I'm gonna get myself into, right? So I go over there, check these out, and he's just got these blue like Rubbermaid tub sitting on his kitchen table. So take a look on them. Whatever you don't take, I'm just going to throw away.
2112 just sitting in there.
Hold on. Check this out. So I get this tub up here, and I'm like, I walk up like, okay, flip. 1965 or 67 Beatles Abbey Road.
Oh, okay. Wow. Just in the red tub.
Michael Jackson. Thriller.
What a red tub. Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, and this thing was just full of these stuff like this, right? And I'm like, there was a few like, okay, there's Mozart Concerto in B minor, just some like odd and then ones that are still cool, but like, okay, they're, whatever, kind of what I expected. But majority of these tubs, like, I'm like, what is going on here? Like some of the, like, all the great hits from like, the 60s, 70s, and 80s in vinyl is in here. And like he bought them new, so like when they came out. So I'm like, okay, this is So that's kind of like, okay, well now I have to go buy a record player, and it just kind of turned into a thing. So anytime you guys are out there releasing new music and vinyl, like it's something I have to have now because
man, I think we'll do like a limited run of them and then put them out. But they look sick. I saw the designs today, and they're up on the site now, www.nesdammusic.com if you want to check it out.
Oh gosh, yes.
But yeah, man, they're awesome. I'm just excited for everything that's going on. I'm just going to enjoy this ride. I spent so much time in my life as a drummer. Everyone's competing as bands out there and stuff. Everyone. It's so hard. I get it. It's a tough road and stuff. But when I guess a wave comes your way, just ride it, man, and enjoy it. Because at some point you don't drum anymore. At some point the thing stops. There's people that I've toured with for years that are back to work or living just a normal life and stuff. So I'm just blessed to keep going. I don't take it for granted, and just want to do a good job with it, but also want to keep putting out killer music, man. Also stuff that I enjoy that doesn't get old to me either. I'm definitely the hardest critic on myself. And if there's there's a couple songs that I'll never mention that I've written in my life that are out there, and they just scar me when they come by. But I could say on this Nesdam one, it's not, man, because it's everything I ever wanted to do on a record, and I want to do it again and keep going. I want to have, and maybe you can hear this now, but I do want to have at least 3 Nesdam records before I ever called it quits with the project or ever did anything. That is kind of my vision as it sits right now. And if you know anything about me getting to finally releasing a record, that might take 10 years. So,
that's exciting to hear. But here's the thing. Right. Like you talk about it, like it's a tough market out there. A lot of people competing in the space, but here's the reality, right? So this is 2 episodes in a row we've talked to, I would say, new artists, getting ready to release their full music, right? And here's the thing. As you're listening to these episodes and you're listening to the music that's being released out of these, you have a responsibility as a listener to go support that, right? Well, he just said, like, great, I'd love to do 3 more, or a total of 3, right? At least. Well, guess what? You guys have to go and support what's happening now to see that vision reality is, because I know what good things you can do, and I'm really excited to hear the rest of it. So I just know that I want to hear more of that. So, I'm going to do my part to go by and do all that. But like, you guys have a responsibility as listeners to help continue to make that happen. And that's not just true with Nesdam or anybody else, but that's just true with all music, right? You have a responsibility. If you like something, listening to it on Spotify is not enough. Do that, because the reality in this world is you have to listen on Spotify to get the streaming numbers up, to get on special playlists and help them get more traction that way. But you still have a responsibility to go buy the vinyl, the CD, go to the shows, buy the shirts, or even the free stuff is still really important. We talk about this a lot, but the reality is liking, sharing the posts, commenting, just those things alone are hugely helpful to make guys like Nesdam successful, because they can't do it on their own. Like, they can put something out and say, here's my art, here is everything I am, here's who I am, and they just leave it there and say, take it with you what you will. But we have a responsibility to take that.
I think that's kind of the beauty of it too, is like, as much as we want people to like feel like that, man, like, hey man, if you support it, like, please do this, please do that. It really means so much, like when they actually do it, or like when it's actually done, because that everyone's time is valuable these days. There's so many good bands, man, these days.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like you just mentioned one, Heal the Hurt, that just came out. Awesome, and then all the others that are still releasing killer stuff, and then you got bands coming back out. You got Creed back, bro.
Right?
You got Linkin Park that's saying chapter 2 here with a female singer and stuff, and so it's like there's such good content. So I don't take it lightly whenever anybody pre-orders a record or streams it or likes it, man. But your support means the world. But yeah, he's right. It keeps the world going round with content that you like. So.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the truth of it, right? Like, look, most people think that like these guys on the road are they're doing great. Like, these record labels paying for everything, and they don't have to worry about paying for this music or like life. No, that's not the case at all. Record labels are great and record deals are great, but that's not what it is.
The one complaint I think I have on Nesdam right now is like, it took so long to get to this road, but it was worth it, and but no one else paid for it but me, and so it was like to get to this, and so now we're here, and so it's just kind of like, it's more like skin in the game, but it's also like I did this kind of just on my own, and it's cool that it's got to this point, but it's also, it takes a lot to get there, and a lot of sacrifice and time included. I don't think that'll be the case on the next one. I don't think it'll be as strenuous, because a lot of things are different now. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But here's the thing, even still right now, you go on a tour, you're driving your own bus, it's like, that's just the nature of being a band. Right. And
man, that's such the fun part about it. Like, there's nothing better. Like, if you're in a band, dude, going on tour with your friends, or like, if they're in the band, like, dude, there's nothing better than that. Stopping at that beat-ups after the show and talking about it.
Right.
I love
that. Driving through the middle of nowhere, Texas, and then finding that one saving grace that's called Buc-ee's. I mean, it's like, it's just so much fun. Yeah. I we were talking about this, like, I would love to go on a tour someday. Not like just, I'm like, I just want to do one. Just go out with somebody, hang out with for, I'll be a stagehand or stuff, whatever, and just experience that for once. Go sleep on the bus bench in the back in a Walmart parking lot.
Go run merch for them, man. So you're with the fans all night, bro.
Ooh, yeah, there you go. No, really, that's a great experience.
Yeah, no, a lot of people that have done that, and then they go from there, and then they start teching, and then they're just meeting people all the time.
Oh yeah, no, but yeah, just for the fun of it, right? Because I've done like a weekend run with a band called Judgment Fire way back in, I guess that was 2015, I think, maybe 16. I don't know. Just a weekend acoustic run in Iowa. That was fun.
Yeah.
But it's just a neat experience.
You gotta love what you do, man. You gotta love what you do, because if you don't love doing this, you will not last long at all. Oh my goodness, I've had so many reasons to quit. I have tried to quit, and I keep coming back to it because at the end of the day, I love this. I love doing it. Love putting out the records. Love making new music, and love going out and performing it, and meeting people like you, doing interviews like this. I think I've met you at so many shows, just popping up, and seeing you in passing. Anyway,
yeah. So it's funny because you just never know where I'm going to show up.
Yeah,
it's really true.
That's why I was like, dude, I don't know what time zone you're in, because I see you at all different shows. Right. Like, I don't know where.
No, but so I like to shift course a little bit, right? Because this is something I always talk about in these podcasts, because it's a tension that we face. Because one of the things that this podcast does, if you guys hadn't figured this out yet, right? I deal with people who identify as Christian. Okay. Not necessarily putting out like Christian records. Like, we're not talking JPMs here, right? This is music can be raw and real and rough and whatever. But the reality is I want to deal with people who are of the faith and talk about that. And because, I believe in life change, right? I believe that music can have an impact, and I want to put forth something that I want to promote people who I believe in and are something that anybody can put on and listen to and feel safe.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah. Positive message.
And so, and really what I want to represent here is anybody I'm bringing on, what you're hearing, what you see, it is what you get. They're true to themselves. They're honest. They're real. They're not just putting on a front to make money, because the reality is there are bands out there that are claiming to be holier than thou or perfect, and Christian bands they're just doing it for a money game, and my job here is not to name names or anything like that, but I'm not going to bring anybody on here that's playing that game. I want to bring on people I respect, right? And so the tension I bring on with that is like the balance to that. And it's always an interesting conversation because everybody's got a different perspective. And I honestly think there's no right or wrong about that. But the reality is, calling yourself a Christian artist or not calling yourself a Christian artist and being just, man, I just make music. And the balance of that. And what does that look like? Right? So let's talk about that a little bit, right? So what to you, what is Nesdam? And this is not like trying to play a label game, but it's let's define that. Let's talk and dig into that a little bit and what that means to you.
So basically the first thing you're going to have to do is, if anybody ever asks that question, and it's not just to Nesdam, but if you ever want to ask that to an artist, you have to define to yourself first, what is Christian music to you? Because it means a lot. That definition does not mean to you what it means to me. It doesn't mean to the next person. There's a why. That is such a blanket statement. Take it from somebody that for the past 12 years has toured in the Christian industry. It's the biggest blanket statement ever. And it's like, Christian music. Okay, are you Christian? Well, what does that mean? Does that mean every song needs to be catered? Because I've been called not a Christian band with Informer bands because not every song was about Jesus. Or I've been told that I wasn't a Christian because Christians don't play a distorted guitar and scream in their music. So there has to be like a fine line on what that definition means before it can be answered. But in the best way, if you have a clear definition of that, listener and Andrew, if you do have a clear definition of that, then you'll just know that by listening to Nesdam music, it is a story about a man who is a Christian. And that is what Nesdam is. Nesdam is essentially my name backwards, and it is the tale of Patrick Mattson, written by Patrick Mattson with a team, played by Patrick Mattson, and then you're hearing the story of it. And Patrick Mattson, at the end of the day, will always be and is a Christian. And so that's kind of just like the standpoint on that. Now, where it evolves from there, and I have no problem talking about this in a limited capacity. It's just I've been in the Christian muck. I've been in the backstages, toured with people for forever in this industry to know that don't want to be around it as much as I used to be. And that has nothing to do with Jesus and everything to do with the toxic environment it's become. Not that the whole thing is toxic, but just that I have experienced that portion of it. Now, part of me will never let it go, but it will, like Nesdam's a little bit more sensitive to opening up to it full par as I have in other acts. So I will be sharing that with a more secular field too, as far as like playing shows and opportunities. But I've done that throughout my entire career Red tours or Hoobastank in 10 years with previous bands. So it's nothing, it wouldn't be anything out of the realm, but long-winded and accurately, that's the depiction of Nesdam and me personally right there.
Yeah, and that's perfect, right? Because honestly, you define that well by not defining it, because the reality is everybody's view of Christian music is completely different.
So crazy. It's so widely vast. And so it's like anybody can ask me that, but at first I have to like kind of calibrate, what do you think Christian music is, or what do you believe it to be?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So like,
there's a song I have, just for example, and sorry to cut you off at all.
No, go.
But there's a song by Papa Roach, man. And me being a Christian personally, there's a song by Papa Roach that I get so much out of. It's almost, worship Jesus to it. And it's a completely secular song. And it's just the Spirit.
Which one is it?
Whenever. And it's called Before I Die. And it's off the album, The Connection. By Papa Roach. And I think that was the record that he found God in. And so, it's something that every time I listen to it, I kind of remember my core values. And I know that there's power in that because it's kind of like a recalibration for me spiritually. And so, that's why I'm like, dude, Christian songs don't just have to be what you think. It doesn't have to be the Chris Tomlin, good father, every song for it to be qualified. That would just be subjective from a human perspective.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to say this. At this point in my life, Christian music is defined very, very differently. And when I say that, in my brain, I'm using it in a completely different term than pretty much everybody else will. And that's okay, because most people say Christian music is exactly what you just described. It's what you're going to hear on your K-Loves or whatever, your big contemporary Christian radio. I can't even listen to most of that. There's a couple of reasons. One, I don't trust half of the artists on there. Not saying they're bad people, but there are some out there.
Pause for silence.
Anyways, that's not what I'm doing. But look, so that's one definition of Christian music. There's the other definition that says, there's Christian bands that just sing about God and they can do it to heavy metal or whatever. But then there's realities. To me, Christian music is it's somebody that's just out there doing their music and giving themselves out and saying, this is me, raw and real. But it's me doing this because I believe in the God that is like given himself and everything in him and created me and chosen to give me an opportunity to be saved. Right. Yeah. And I'm doing this music that may not be Christian because I'm screaming, or that guitar is really fast and really loud or distorted.
The minute I hear stuff like that, I'm just like, okay, my entire artistry is based off of that primal perspective right there, because there's distortion in it. My entire spirituality goes out the door. That's wild. And it's like, so that's precisely what I mean by like, I don't immediately want to subject Nesdam to those environments right off the get-go, being that most of these songs are being about a guy that's a byproduct of being scarred from them,
Yeah, no, and honestly, this is what I want to support. Okay, and for those listening to this podcast episode right now, this is what this podcast is about. Yes, it's about having cool conversations with people and stuff, but this is what I want to support. I don't just talk to musicians and things, but when I'm talking to people involved in music, whether they're promoters or whatever, this is what I'm trying to promote. Because what you're doing is you're going out into those places where it can be dark, but you're bringing this, like, hey, look, dude, like, I've been there. I know you. Like, you're bringing hope to other artists you're touring with. You're bringing hope to the places you're playing in. And it doesn't have to be, it shouldn't be in a church or whatever. You can do that, right? I'm sure you're going to go out and play, I'm sure it's, look, Angie, don't hate me. No, look, understand this, right? Like, you're going to probably go play Kingdom Come Festival, but that's not always your target audience, right? And I love Kingdom Come to death, but like, that's, that's Christians edifying Christians, and that is absolutely necessary. But you're going to get these amazing opportunities to go play in bars.
Yeah, and so that's kind of like a great segue to go to like kind of what Nesdam's vision is as far as the public eye. It's obviously to like release music and more content, but to where we want to play, man, Nesdam was kind of always the outlet. It was looked at initially as just, my passion side project. I want it to open new doors. I want it to explore new terrains. I've done the Kingdom Come Fests. I've done the Life Fest. I've done everything you can possibly think in the Christian industry for the past 12 years. And I'm just ready for something new and in new horizons. And it's not that I'm like bored with it. It's just, I have more to offer than just the same old revolving door. As far as Nesdam, Nesdam,
no, for sure.
And it's just because and that's how the project was calibrated and it's like, when it was being made from scratch. And I feel like if we continue that process as a band, it'll be honored, and like the true vision will be, seeked out at that point. And that's really what I'm in it for. I have like this vision just for Nesdam, like as far as like a completion with it. It's kind of like much like a My Chemical Romance thing where they wanted to put out just like these last records, but like it's always just kind of been that since the start. And how far we get in it, is yet to be determined. But chapter 1 is off to a great start, and I'm just stoked to be like set sail on the ship.
So. Yeah, no, for sure. And this is what I'm excited for, right? Is you're going to get out there and go do those things, and this is again, like you're not necessarily going to have to be out there preaching, right? Because that's not for everybody. Your job is to lay out your music and play it and let people experience that and hear the message through that.
Yeah, and I was in a band that did, I've done the preaching tour. I mean, I've been in bands that have done the preaching, and Zana, if we're feeling led some nights, we'll do it. Like that. And if I'm feeling led, at a Nesdam thing, I might, because at the end of the day, it's it's me with a mic, just feeling like I do, and I'm a Christian guy at the end, but I just never wanted to put that tag on Nesdam right now, just because I got plans to do with it, and they were never kind of like, I've never been one to repeat what I've already done. It's always been do new things, do new stuff, and I don't care if it's the weirdest stuff with Nesdam. It was always kind of designed to be that way with the band and different. And and that's kind of what makes it nervous, but exciting still too. There's a lot of that behind Nesdam.
Yeah, no, for sure. And look, this is the key. This is the point. You are exactly what we built this podcast to support, right? Because this is, I've said this before, but this is what I view as my ministry, right? Yeah. I've always been a behind the scenes support person, right? I've always done interviews. I used to run the Christian Music Source. That's what my interviews always used to be through, right?
I remember.
It was meant to support good bands that needed support. I'll make, look, there are so many great bands out there that don't get the attention they deserve, and I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm going to bring on people that they get all the attention in the world, but I still want to share their message or bring more attention to what they're saying or whatever, and have conversations around that. And so this is my ministry. And so you're exactly what this was started to support.
Man, that's cool, man. Yeah.
And really when you talk to
hear that.
Yeah, dude, like this is, well, I mean, really, you kind of helped put this idea in my head, honestly, right? Because I was talking about, what was it? I think it was 3 years ago at Kingdom Come. I caught up with you and you're like, and I was like, yeah, I've been thinking about doing interviews and stuff again, but I'm just not sure how to do it. Like, I've done the live stream thing, I've done the whatever. I'm like, I'm just trying to think about the outlet. And at the time, like, I think you were just kind of, gave up on, you were just finishing up your podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? Honestly, this should be a great format for a podcast. And so it's always been the kind of my brain and stuff. And you're like, man, you start that podcast, I'm going to be like the first interview on there. Like, you got the exclusive, like, Nesdam is going to be the thing. And it took a while to get there, but for good reason. Like, the timing had to be right. But honestly, you were kind of the inspiration for me to come out there and make this a thing.
Dude, that's cool, man. I didn't know that. That's rad.
Yeah, and so it's just important to me to be able to bring these stories forward,
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. You've, it's funny. I've known you for a long time, and you were there like in the beginning, and you're still around. And that's kind of just what this whole industry is, man. Whether you're a Christian industry, secular, I've done them both. It's a marathon, and it is what you have is everyone trying to be the rabbit, trying to get overnight success. But if you're that tortoise, that's when you creep through and things just start to go, because you just got to plan for the long haul. it's a cutthroat industry, and it can happen overnight, but it could also take 10, 20 years. And for me, it's taken 15 to even get this far. Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, let's shift courses a little bit. I want to kind of talk more about this new album a little bit. So is there anything you'd like to tell us about it? Like, is there any kind of like stories behind some of these songs you'd like to share?
Oh, man.
Yeah, cool
there's so many. It's basically like when there's a QR code for the lyrics, when you get the digipack, or if you get the vinyl, there's lyric books. I hope it reads like a book when you read the lyrics front to back. Cool. Obviously with repeat sections due to music and choruses, but yeah, and like there's so many stories. It's like One Block Away was written about a music mentor of mine, a guy that I was in a band with for a long time named Jason Coran, who died. I lived 1 block away from him, and I went on a tour with Random Hero one day and came back and he wasn't there no more. And this was a guy that, dude, I'd been to Hollywood with numerous times. I had done big stuff, sat down with Roadrunner with him early in my career. And one day he's gone. I mean, you come back from a tour, he's there. One day you come back from that same tour and he's not no more. And as a young musician or just somebody that's in their early 20s in life, like death hits your front door that quick or just like that impacts you, it kind of messes you up. And so that song kind of alludes to it. It also talks about our time in that band. So there's one like that right there. Bulletproof, man, is kind of just like my walking life. I've been shot at like an early story in my life when I was 20, was in Kentucky, and I was in this band and yada, yada, yada. Some stuff happened and somebody grabbed a gun and shot at me, and 6 rounds, man, so that's what that story is about. So yeah, I mean, Manipulator, it's written about the face of evil, man. It's just like, evil attacks us every day. It attacks everybody. And if you don't think it does, like everyone knows this. And it's just like, it's kind of just my song to that. Your anger song, your gym playlist song. I needed one of those. And at the time I was super angry writing that song. So it just kind of fit the format. And then there's Crawl, which is, if you go watch the interview with Brian Head Welch, we talk about what Crawl is about, but that was about my unfortunate attempted suicide in 2020. And so it's like, there's some heavy material that it's written about, but that's why it's deeply personal to me. That's why the Nesdam name fits perfectly. It's just backwards. It's a way of me that you never knew before. Just maybe because you never asked or it wasn't presented, so it's right. One of those things. Now, Yeah.
Yeah. And no, man, that's the truth of it, right? We were talking about that earlier. It's like the real rawness of those stories is what's going to make such great music, and I can't wait to hear it.
And yeah, man, and that's what I'm really happy that's getting through to people, man. I conversational pieces like Manipulator and Bulletproof. I have constant people coming up to me talking about those songs. Really cool. Really cool to see their meanings of it, how it impacts their lives. Families too. And so that's like, man, that's the currency right there. Like that's worth more than $1 million at the end of the day, man. It's like the impact your music brings to people, and there's an energy there that just can't put a currency on it.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. So it's that time in the podcast again where I'm going to flip things on its head.
Yeah, dude.
I want you to turn around and I'm going to have you asking me a question now. And
dude, I was thinking about this earlier. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the rules are, guys, this is pretty straightforward. I ask him to ask me a question, and I set no limits. Sometimes this may be a good idea, maybe a bad. I have no idea yet. But whatever he asks, I'm going to answer it.
I don't know if anybody has ever asked you this.
Okay.
But I've seen you around in the music industry, so I have a little prelude to this. Seen you around the music industry for a long time, supporting bands, interviewing, doing great interviews such as this. Like, if you could play any instrument for any band, dead or alive, it could be a band that, like Queen or somebody, like Freddie Mercury still around, dead or alive. If you could play in any band on at the what was it, the Bluebird or the Firebird, the night that we met, it would be there at that same show. Okay. Who are you playing that same show? It's Random Hero Disciple. And now it's Andrew and the,
oh my gosh.
Who?
Believe it or not.
That would be random.
No. You're good. So look, this is not kissing up, nothing crazy like this, but honestly, it's really true because I think it'd be the most fun, especially just watching the stage interaction between this artist and the musicians. Like, it's just a fun thing to see. I'm a drummer. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
But I'm a drummer. So by nature, I love to drum. So that's going to be where I'm going to play. But I would love, if this would be the thing, if this was the reality and this was actually a thing, I'd be playing drums for Zana.
No way.
Dead serious. Dead serious. Dude. I hate to kick you out of your seat, but no, but I mean, but amazing. Honestly, it would be so much fun because like the way that you guys interact on stage is just so much fun.
So you like the drums in Zana?
Dude, yeah.
That's rad, man. No,
now, I love it's partially the parts that you write and whatever, but I mean, honestly, like it's fun. It's got a nice drive, and it'd just be a fun part to play. And
dude, that's rad, man.
Yeah, honestly, let's get specific. If I'm going to tell you which one I'm going to play, if I'm going to play a specific song, it's going to be "Your Gun, My Knife."
That one is so fun
because it's like that intro, just that ethereal, like, and then that just I'll be sitting there on that, getting real low on that ride cymbal, kind of giving that like look over the, like,
dude,
I could just feel it. Yeah.
I still get chills with that song live. Yeah, I think we're going to start intertwining it back in the set because it's just become a cult following around that one.
Oh, gosh,
you know?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It just makes you feel like there is some serious stuff behind that song.
Well, not to like spoiler anything, but if you like that, there's kind of a callback-ish on the new Zana record. So, yeah. Kind of vamping it up here, man.
Yeah, no, but yeah, okay. So no, that was a fantastic question. And again, it's not, if anybody else would have asked me that question, it still would have been the same answer. So don't think just because it's like you're in the band is,
no, that's cool. Sorry, I was closing my door. No, that's rad, man. I wasn't expecting that. Like, that's super cool.
No, for sure. But yeah, see, I love this. You never know where these questions go, and I've had so many interesting ones. But yeah, I love that. Yeah. And it's just because, and I've gotten the cool experience to kind of see you guys up close. Now, look, guys, when I say up close, like I've had photography pass at Kingdom Come for the last 2 years. So when I'm up close, I'm like literally like 6 inches from Patrick as he's playing.
Oh, bro, you're like right there.
I'm getting the sweat off you as like you're throwing down, So like. Like I kind of get that feeling, so I kind of like get what that vibe would be like. So that's where, like, no, that's what I want.
That's awesome.
Look, yeah, there's like a couple of different bands I gotten close to kind of experience that, but like of all of them, like that would be a fun one. So
yeah, and Your Gun,
dude. Yeah, man. So okay, well let's talk about like playing shows and things. Like you've done all kinds of crazy things. You've been on tours with bands of all kinds, and you've been doing this for years. Let's talk about tour life a little bit. What is like the craziest? And this is just gonna be a hard question, just because you have to think about it now. So sorry, but like, what is like the craziest like tour show? Stop. Let's go for a specific show. Like the crazy, like dude, like what just happened? Craziest show experience you've had?
Craziest show experience. Man, there was like some Red tours that were crazy. It was kind of crazy getting out of. There was like one in North Carolina. We've just had a lot of funny ones, man. We've had just some crazy off day experiences. The craziest thing that's ever happened, like on a tour was, like there was this time like at Sheetz. Sheetz is like this East Coast gas station. If y'all don't know, it's amazing.
You'll hear that come up in other episodes because everybody loves Sheetz.
Tour artists like one-stop shop basically. And man, there was this guy starting a big old fuss. He like walked up to us, put a bunch of money in our hand. He was like, "You're gonna buy me a bunch of Black and Milds because like my ID is like but it's like expired. They won't let me do it." I don't know this guy, man. It's like, bro, it's like, gosh, it had to be like 8 a.m. We're just waking up a bunch of artists. Anyway, it gets pretty hazy and. Anyway, I just go up to the dude and I'm just like, what is your problem? Like, why are you so mad at us basically? And I diffused the situation. We ended up getting him a Black and Mild, but I do just remember like in the instance on tour, you can, at the drop of a dime, it can go from like the best night of your life to just all of a sudden now you're just like at a standoff in a foreign area that you've never been in, you know, in the matter of hours. Cause it seemed like a twilight zone for me. I just went to sleep that night, just woke up and we're in here. So there's like things like that. We've blown a lot of tires and been in sketchy situations, you know? Yeah, and then maybe not so appropriate ones to talk on that we've seen, things that you witness on tour that you can't get out of your mind. You know, but yeah, you know, tour's not for the weak, man. I feel like we're just a bunch of modern age pirates out on our ship, you know, and some do good, some do bad with their music and what they're out there to do. But that's just what we are, man. So I have respect for everyone that's still doing it this day. And being like a lifer like me that's done it for more than 10 years and continues to do it. It's not easy, but it gets easier as you go, or you just figure it out better as you go. But with time comes like, you know, better things. Like you just got to keep going, man. At the end of the day, not quitting is the best currency, and that's where the riches come, is from not quitting.
No. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I've heard some crazy tour stories and stuff. So like, it's cool and it's interesting. Like, tour is a wild, wild world. There's the highs, the lows, and everything in between, right? Because you've done everything from sleeping in Walmart parking lots in the back of the van
Yep.
to like getting flown dates and getting to sleep in some nice hotels. To you don't know what you're gonna get, and the crazy part is it could be the same tour.
I've had McDonald's for catering, and I've had silver platter. It's just, dude, that's tour right there, you know. But like, you know, things vary. You can play for 700 people the night before and be playing for 70 the night after. You know, it's it happens all the time. You know.
Yeah, we make the. I used to make this joke, but I almost can't make it anymore because things have changed. But it's like, it was always the joke of like, if you're out on tour, don't eat the gas station sushi. However, when you get things like Sheetz and Buc-ee's and Quick Trip with the Q, like the Oklahoma and Missouri Quick Trip, or the Quick Trip up north, like you're going to get these gas stations. They're actually pretty legit.
They're changing the name, man. I'm telling you.
I mean, like, yeah, things are different. Like, look, if you're Quick Trip with a Q, right? You know what I'm talking about? That big red Q, like out there in like Missouri, Oklahoma, Georgia, all that. The hot dog, man, the steamed bun, like, if you know, you know, right? Like Buc-ee's is just on another planet, so I'm not going to dig into that mess. Like, it's that's just Walmart at this point. Like you name it, they've got it, and it's the best of the best. Anyways,
if IKEA had gas.
I mean, really. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about this for a second, because I ask this once in a while because it's always so interesting to hear the different answers, especially from somebody that's literally been everywhere at this point. If you're going to go out on a tour and you're going out on the road, you're going to pretty much hit just about every corner. Like, if you're going to stop somewhere, like, I need to eat this, what is it, that one place you're always like, I have to stop here?
Oh, man. Okay.
That's open field. Like, I've heard everything from a sushi down in New York City to Buc-ee's to like some fast food like joint, like whatever. Like, it's open season here. What's the story?
Man, you know, I'm not like the biggest foodie. Like, yes, I will go out. I love, you know, a good dinner like anybody, but like,
oh yeah,
I've never been one to like target like places like that. You know, I've been in plenty of bands with people like that and got to share their, you know, their fun with them. But if there is a place I'm going to stop, dude, this is no surprise and shock to a lot of people that know me, but this is Chili's, man. If you've ever heard of Chili's, it is the most underrated restaurant to me. It's not like I'm going to go out of my way to go there, but if there's one and there's nothing else, bro, it's always Chili's, you know.
Look, you know, they got variety and they do the variety well.
Yeah, I dig the place. Plus, I'm a sports guy too, you know, and they'll have that up in there, and it's just a cool vibe. My whole band likes it too, so we're cool. You know.
Yeah. Like, okay. I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it. Yeah. No, I'm interested. Like, okay, you said sports guy. Look, this is a first for me this year, but I just joined a fantasy football league this year, and I've never watched so much football in my entire life. Let me tell you what. But anyways, no, but yeah, okay. So that's always interesting because everybody's like, there's always an answer, and it's always interesting to see the answer. And I'll give you mine, and I've said it before, but it's the truth, right? If you've been up through like some of the northern rural areas, and some more northern, but like kind of more northern out to the west a little bit. So when I say that, like Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, Wyoming, it's Taco John's.
Oh, bro. Yeah. I know all about Taco John's. That place rules.
I mean, I would hope so, because you've been everywhere at this point.
That's
you
true.
should.
Yeah.
You should know about Taco John's. I am very disappointed if you don't, because here's the hot take. They blow Taco Bell out of the water like 100 times over. Like, I'm telling you, the price is not really any different. But look, Taco Bell gives you meat in your taco. Taco John's will fill that thing freaking halfway up with some meat, and you're getting Wyoming, what you pay for. Look, I got word that they're going to put like they're planning like 5 in the St. Louis area, and I about fell over. I'm like, dude, now we're talking. I'm going to be broke. Anyways, I'm not like a huge foodie kind of guy. Like, I'm not known for things with flavor. That's kind of the joke, is like I'm a little too picky for my own good. But I love some good food places, right? Like I've got regional things that I like to do, and it kind of grows as I get to travel a bit. Like anytime I'm in Nashville now, I'm going to go to Bar Taco.
I know about that one too. I recently had that about a year ago. Really good.
Their shaved ribeye bowl. Oh, that was good. Anyways, yeah, no, I mean, I like to just to kind of see, like, you never know, and sometimes I might learn about something that I never thought I'd like. That's pretty good. I never thought about it. It's great. Like, I always had to stop at Sheetz now. Like, if I'm going out to the East Coast anywhere, like, I make an effort to stop at Sheetz, because I never did it. Like, I went out, I'm like, okay, well, everybody talked about Sheetz. Let me see what this is about. And I'm like, yep, this is exactly what everybody says it is. It is that good. You know,
I've heard it's gotten better. I haven't had it lately.
Ooh, how does that get better?
I don't know. I'm on their email list. I try to stick up with them.
Yeah, I mean, as you should, right? No, so like, you know, it's always just kind of fun to hear the different answers. But like, yeah, you know, I'm glad you came on, right? I appreciate your time. I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I do like to turn this back on to like why we're here. And it's because we have a platform, we each do in our own way. And I always want to make sure that we use that platform responsibly. And one of the ways that I like to do that is like, look, there's people listening. There may not be a lot of people listening. Share this episode if you can, but we have a responsibility that if we believe something, whatever that could be, whether it be faith or like we've gone through something emotionally or whatever, if we have something that means something to us, we have a responsibility to share that, because somebody out there may need to hear whatever that is. Mm-hmm. So I always want to give everybody an opportunity before we end our episodes to share whatever is important to them, because it could make or break somebody's life right now. And so I want to give you that opportunity here. Just like, what is that message that is so important to you right now that everybody needs to hear?
I think it's that we as humans, we take ourselves a little too seriously sometimes. It's nice. I think the most important thing to have as a modern day Western civilization American human being is to have a sense of self-reflection and to realize what we're bringing to the table and what we're not, to society, to our everyday relationships, to friendships. And it's basically, you have a story to tell and you don't want to be the villain in it. And so basically make the decision whether you want to be good or bad, because that decision will be made at the end of the day. And it will be made whether you like it or not, because of choices that have led up. And so basically, man, like, I just want to tell everyone, like, you have a story to tell out there, and don't be the villain in it. This life needs good people in it, as many as can be, especially in these times of division where we need unity more than ever. This message has been preached like a tale as old as time, but it is more important than ever. So like, if there's one message I can stress, you have a story to tell. Don't be the villain in it.
Yeah, I love that. That being said, as we always finish these episodes out, I want to make sure that we get one more chance to hear this. We've talked about it already. First and foremost, you're Nesdam.
Yeah, dude.
Welcome to the music scene, my man. I'm so excited for this. Where do we find everything Nesdam, right? You're in the middle of pre-orders.
Yes,
how do we do it?
You can find literally everything. Anything you want to know, Nesdam, who I am, what I'm about, my interview with Brian Head Welch, streaming new songs, where to find the new songs, everything you need under one umbrella, www.nesdammusic.com for everything. You can pre-order. We just got some new bundles up. Vinyl, cassettes, And yeah, digipacks for the new record. I mean, bundles galore, posters, shirts. Yeah, man, just go check it out. Stream through, and then there's a bio on me if you want to get to know me, and then more interview material. One with Brian Head Welch again, and so yeah.
No, I absolutely love it. Yes, so do that. Right, we talked about how that is so very important. But here's the thing, I think there's more. Right, because like, dude, I'm looking at you right now, and maybe someday it'll come back. You got this fantastic beard right now. You've had this fantastic beard for a while, but like it is like looking spectacular. What do you do with that? Like, what's the deal with that beard right now?
Dude, I'm glad you asked. That's so funny. I just got sponsored by Medusa Beard Oil Company. Out of Colorado Springs. And so yeah, I use their beard oils. I put them in every day. They smell good. He's got Greek god lines. He has all types of lines. If you check out Medusa Beard Oil, he's my bro Gerald, good friend of mine, but also his product is the bomb. But yeah, dude, that's how I get that, man.
Right Number there. One rule: if you ever see somebody like if you ever see somebody with like a really good beard or really good haircut or something, like, dude, that is like clean. You need to ask them how or why or who's responsible.
It takes time.
It takes time, but like because like. You have an opportunity to like, that's what I like for a while. I was like, oh, I don't know how to get my hair cut by. I'm like, and I saw this dude like, dude, that haircut is sick. Who cut your hair? And I went and saw her, like, she was fantastic. Right. How do you find the best? So that's like, you got a fantastic, like, how do you get that beard? Check out that beard oil, dude.
Bro.
Check that out. Thank you for coming on. I can't say enough. You're going to be back. There's no way I'm not going to bring you back. We're going to have so many great conversations. To do this
again, man. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got so much good stuff. To talk about, and it goes on, you know. So we're here to support, as we always do. If you guys want to see more, go follow me on my Facebook page, Instagram. Go check it out. We're on YouTube. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, as a matter of fact, we're there. Where were we again? Just go find it. It's out there. It's great. Okay? Like it, follow it, subscribe it, do what you need to do. Here's the thing. I've got some amazing people I work with, and one of those great, amazing people has let me use their music for this theme song for this episode, for this podcast, and that is the Mac. He let me use the song Won't He Do It, because it was just a perfect theme song, because it reminded us sometimes as we're having these conversations about life, and you know what? God's there, and he does some really cool things, and sometimes just like, absolutely, won't he do it? Watch him do it. So thank you, the Mac, for letting me use your song. Thank you, Nesdam, for coming on. As that music comes up, have a great night, guys. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, everybody. See ya.
Hail to the glory. Hail to the glory. Won't it do it? Yeah, it brought me through it. Nah.